Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of B&B. I got a question for you, Benjamin.
What is it?
What doth life?
What doth life?
Yeah,
I don't doth know.
well, you don't doth know because you haven't seen spirit science yet.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. I've been talking about it for the past like 2 months, but finally we can talk about it because I've been dying to talk about it. Okay, because everyone's just a bunch of sheep who haven't woken up yet. Okay, I know the truth.
Wake up, sheeple.
Wake up, sheeple. All right. So for those of you who don't know, right? And I can't blame you for being ignorant, okay? Spirit Science is a channel on YouTube that speaks the truth, okay? And we're talking about a specific episode where they encompass the entirety of the human history, okay, into one video, which is what 59 minutes and 6 seconds long, right?
Oh my god.
It's a 33 video series, and this one video is an hour long. Uh, it has 3.8 million views, 36K likes, and 8K dislikes. Well, 36,001 because I liked it. Now, I thought I would be the first to talk about it, but I noticed that there's a couple other videos of people who are enamored with it. You know, uh, I recommend PCP University. It has a great lecture by Munchie. I think he has Tourette's though, so it's a little hard to follow, but at least watch their CWC and Tails Get Trolled lecture. But anyway, it's an extra credit style video where
Hmm.
this little cartoon guy's on a podium, and it cuts to little drawings of what he's talking about, and props to the artist for trying to draw what he's talking about.
Right.
Because when it gets to Merkabahs and like crazy, I wrote a little summary thing, and it's like 2 pages long, and I had to watch the video in like 1 minute chunks because I'd have to stop and go back and try to understand what I just heard.
Dang, it's that complicated?
It's that complicated. Okay, so just jumping right into it, right? So
Right?
where do you think human history starts, Benjamin?
Where does human history start?
Yeah.
Ooh, I guess I don't know. I would probably say when the first Homo sapien evolved, like when that mutation occurs to make it
Hmm.
significantly different from the other one, like Homo erectus or whatever the other one is. That's probably where I would say
Well,
human
your
history
first
starts.
mistake is believing in evolution. Okay.
Oh,
Okay, and
whoops.
everything is a lie. Okay, everything that you've taught in the history books. Okay, it's a cover up from companies. I'll talk about that later. Mostly
Right,
NSA.
right.
But okay, stop. Okay, so all right, archaeologists recently did a bunch of digs that found out dozens of ancient religious cities are real. Okay, and
Whoa.
thousands of clay tablets underneath those cities have written in cuneiform telling all of human history from about 500,000 years ago.
Hmm.
Okay, so naturally, a thing some people might say is, oh no, okay, these stories are just myths or just savages trying to explain how they're made from gods. Okay, wrong, asshole. All right, you're wrong. The Dogons knew about the distant planets and solar systems and the equinox day one of their civilization, well before what would be considered normal by today's backwards expectations.
Hmm.
And also the Sumerians did, by the way, but don't worry about that. So these tablets, right? They go way back. I'm talking Tiamat, Nibiru, the Nephilim, seeding the human race, Adam and Eve, the children of Lemuria. Just the common knowledge basics. So this
Hmm.
vid picks up at about Lemuria, right, and goes through Atlantis in the modern day. Are you tracking
Oh,
with
they
me
have
right now,
Atlantis.
Benjamin? Oh no, Atlantis is crucial. That's the home of the Lemurians. Are you tracking with me right now, Benjamin?
Okay, I think so.
Okay. And hey, if you have any questions during this, if I say something you don't understand, just jump in and ask, cause don't save your questions for the end, cause I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So you gotta
Okay,
you gotta
okay.
you gotta stop me mid-sentence here,
All
cause
right, all
things
right.
move fast. Okay.
Okay.
So and by the way, most of this knowledge is from the tablets, but also Thoth. So thanks Thoth.
Oh,
So
Thoth, the
yeah,
Egyptian god?
well, God,
In quote.
God quotation marks, right?
Okay, right, right. Okay.
So let's go back to the beginning, right? Okay? Humans used to be high consciousness. Okay? We were interdimensional, baby. Okay? I'm talking psychics. Speaking and writing is primitive tools, okay? We used thought speak and we communicated with our feelings. Also, we're called Lumerians, not humans. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
So, Atlantis kind of popped up out of the sea as our home sank. So we just kind of spread out over Atlantis. And Atlantis was out of the sea. We weren't underwater. It's not like we're not
Okay. We weren't
Aquaman,
like
you know?
mer people.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
not mer people. It just came out of the sea. So about 1,000 humans were like these mind gurus, right? They're called Nakals or ascended masters. And
Mhm.
they kind of shot out spirit waves to announce to humanity that Atlantis is our new home. So all of humans would go to Atlantis. Okay, now why Atlantis? I just heard you ask. Good question,
Yeah.
Benjamin. Well, we have a Kundalini, which is like an energy serpent in our spine. When activated, it blitzes our chakras with some real nar energy, right? So
Okay.
the Earth also has a Kundalini just like we do. And it leads from the core of the Earth to Atlantis. And whoever lives there are the spiritual leaders of the world.
Oh my god.
I mean, duh, right? Like, you already knew this. This is just for the
So
viewers.
is everyone then living on top of another human? How do we know the Earth isn't just another human?
Well, damn, you should comment that on Spirit Science because I commented on the video. Let me see what my comment was. Um, I said this is the most complex, incredibly high effort prank I've ever experienced. And they responded, and I commented this in like 3 months ago.
Mhm.
This was made 2012, and they're still responding to comments.
Oh my
And
god.
they said, or maybe the prank is having you believe in something else, which really shook the foundations of my faith. I was like, oh, I was looking at my hands, like, oh my God, he's right. But they can really take the bants, by the way, because you know the comments are crazy, right?
Right,
Credit to
right.
them, right? So anyway, the spiritual center of the world moved to Tibet later, but we're not going to worry about that. Okay, the point
Okay.
is, the Nakal's mind energy created 10 circles of spiritualityness on the island where these vortexes swirl, right? And all the millions of Lumerians moved to Atlantis. So that's how humanity made Atlantis their home.
Okay.
So at the time, us Lumerians, we were little babies, spiritual babies. Our spiritual body was about 12 years old. And since we were right brained, like feeling and stuff, it was of the female gender. We had only about 8 out of the 10 energies mastered. So only 8 out of the 10 circles made on Atlantis actually had cities built there. These are like giant miles wide circles where people are drawn to, and two of them just had no one in it. Now,
Okay.
that's not okay because life is going to be at the vortex. Something had to be there. So these
Right.
two races came to fill it. The first were the space Hebrews. They came from space in the future. Okay. So
Okay.
this is a direct quote, okay? Hebrews were kind of like the kid who went to 5th grade but failed and had to do that grade over again. So that's the because what happened was they couldn't evolve their consciousness since they knew all the left brain math stuff, but didn't know the feelsy stuff that us Lumerians were good at. So those were the space Jews. Exodus was probably literal, and Moses was probably a space Jew sent to free the Hebrews.
Okay.
Uh, Lumerians were really cool guys for the space Hebrews. Mutual gain, I'm talking BFFs, pals forever. They really helped us out. Shalom. Mazel tov to the happy races. So we were best friends. Now, the other race were the Martians from Mars. Okay, these guys were assholes, right? So Mars used to be great until the Lucifer experiment. So basically, the spirit, which is like living things like you and me, right? We're consciousness. It's when consciousness kind of creates itself, and the spirit can say, so us basically, living beings can say like, oh fuck that, and we can cut ourselves off from consciousness to create our own reality. That's the
Wait.
Lucifer.
What?
You want me to like reword it, rephrase it?
Whoa, whoa. Like,
Yeah, I
so
know this
we
is. I
like
know I can hear your hand shaking from this.
create your own world inside of your mind? Is that sort of
Not quite. Okay, you're thinking in this as very floaty kind of feeling thing, which you're Lumerian. I don't blame you, but
right?
so consciousness is like basically like the fabric of life, right? And
Mhm.
we're created from consciousness. So like we're
Okay.
we're connected to consciousness, but you can basically go like fuck you consciousness. I want to own myself, and you can like cut yourself off from consciousness and love and create your own, fate,
Oh, I
your own
see. So
reality. It's
cutting
kind
off
of
from
like
the group conscious. Okay.
yeah, it's like take that fate kind of deal.
Okay.
Not literally fate, but and
Right.
that's what the Lucifer experiment is cutting yourself off to create your own like free will or whatever. I guess we already
Mhm.
have free, it's complicated. It's not
Right.
inherently evil, even though it's called the Lucifer experiment. This is one of those things where it's like, ooh, Satan's not evil, just a misunderstood bad boy, right? So it's
Right.
not inherently evil. We have all the right in the world to do it. It just hasn't been done successfully.
Okay.
Now, it fails because they cut themselves off from the love and consciousness and good feels of the world, so they become left brain or male and get super aggressive. I mean, like roid raged out and way too greedy. And they just fight each other till they're dead because they don't have compassion. And that's what happened to the Martians because the Mars used to be just like Earth and then they just blew themselves up.
Okay.
So we're going to pause and talk about the Star of David. I'm sorry, I meant the star tetrahedron. The star
Oh,
tetrahedron,
okay.
not the Star of David. The star tetrahedron. Okay, so the Merkaba is an energy field around the David tetrahedron, right? It's a
Mhm.
vehicle for consciousness, so you can travel dimensions. It's think of the Star of David as like a three-dimensional um, vehicle, like literally like a thing you can step into and like travel dimensions. I'm sure spirit science is like rolling around right now, listening to me right now, just butcher this explanation, but I don't know what the fuck they're talking about, man. This is what I saw in the video. They drew a little doodle, so this is what I'm thinking. So it's how you can like travel dimensions.
Okay.
So the Martians made a non-living Merkaba, like a synthetic Merkaba, to escape their hellhole and come to Earth about 65,000 years ago.
Whoa, whoa. Hold up. You said a non-living Merkaba.
Yeah, so when
So
you
are you implying they're living Merkaba?
not like a beating heart kind of deal, not like you're climbing into the flesh cage of another being, okay?
Okay.
It's when you're connected to the consciousness, you can make like a proper Merkaba that's like alive with consciousness, right? But they made like a fake Merkaba using just like super consciousness technology. You know what I mean? Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean, Benjamin?
Yeah, yeah. I know about that type of stuff.
I'm
Yep.
glad. I'm glad. Okay. So I'm glad you understand as much as I do at this point. So
Right.
remember those empty circles I talked about? Because we only knew 8 out of 10 of the
Oh
spirit.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so they escaped Mars using their synthetic Merkaba, and they were like, holy shit, there's nothing here. We can just be here. So they saw it was empty and they just grabbed it. And let me just tell you now, the reason we suck right now, it's because of the Martians, man. Humanity sucks because of the Martians that invaded Atlantis 65,000 years ago. They changed our evolutionary path. You know why there are riots in the streets? Okay, I'm talking civil war, war itself at all. It's because of the Martians, Benjamin.
Mm.
So right. So Thoth, right? He was just like he's like a Nakal basically. He was a super mind power guy. So his Thoth's dad Thome, he was a Nakal in Poseidon, a city in the 10th circle located at the top of Atlantis. Like if we were looking down at Atlantis, it would be the northernmost circle,
Mhm.
and it's called Poseidon. It was a target sign representing Atlantis. I don't know what that means. I wrote that down, but I don't know what that means. The center. Oh, right. So it was a target sign. Like it looked like a target, right, with the outer ring and then an inner ring, right?
Mhm.
And the inner circle represented the Nakals, the middle circle represented the Mayans, and the outer circle represented the Lumerians.
Okay.
I guess because the Mayans were like a little more spiritual than us shitty Lumerians.
Yeah.
Oh
So
God.
this sounds like we have the it sounds like a bullseye, like a landing bullseye for
Yeah,
the Martians
that's
to
like
like
literally
crash,
this.
kill
No,
everyone.
no. Okay, this is Poseidon.
Okay.
Okay, let me rephrase it. So, this is one of the inhabited circles, one of the 8 out of 10 inhabited ones, and it physically the city is laid out like a target, and
Oh my
and
god.
it
It's literally a
it's
target.
literally a target, and it represents the Nacals, Lumerians, and Mayans, depending on which.
Mhm.
And so I maybe
Is
the
this like a
Nacals.
caste system or
I,
something?
it's kind of like a caste system, but if like
Uh,
rather than like treating them like shit, it's just like, oh, it's okay, man. You'll get to us one day spiritually, bro. Hug a tree.
Okay, okay. I see.
Yeah. Okay, you see now. Okay, I'm glad you
Yep.
understand.
Yep.
So this is not one of the places the Martians went to. There are just two empty circles that they went to. Poseidon wasn't one of those. It's just how it's laid out. So the Martians landed and immediately declared war on Atlantis because they wanted it all, but they fucked up because they had really small numbers, right?
Hmm.
Even if we're feelsy like peaceful, there's still so many more of us. So we defeated them, but we
Hug them
couldn't.
to death.
We hugged them to death, Benjamin. We hugged them, squeezed them so hard, loved them, they just couldn't handle it. So we couldn't send them home to Mars.
I know we're too kind.
Yeah, we're too kind. We can't send them back to that hellhole. Um, and it was kind of, so we just kind of let them live here, even though we beat them.
Right.
Now, it was kind of weird though, and this is okay. This is spirit science saying this, not me, but we had the planetary consciousness at this point of a 14-year-old girl because we're right-brained and really young species. While the Martians were like a 70-year-old man who's really aggressive.
Oh my.
So I think that's kind of creepy, but I didn't say it, spirit science said it, whatever. So it was
So
kind
we're
of
having some like spiritual pedophilia here or
spiritual
something.
pedophilia is a good term.
Okay.
I want to make that an official term right now. I'm talking about spiritual pedophilia.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So so it wasn't really fair, right? 70-year-old man
Right.
versus 14-year-old. So the Martians, they used so we're living together at this point, right?
Hmm.
And the Martians used left brain tech that we just didn't understand. It was literally like technology that was just really smart stuff while we had lived off of like nature and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So over time, Lumerians began to think with their left brain instead of their right because they became used to the Martian technology. And that made the Martians very powerful. Think about small group, lots of power, right?
Right.
So we still hated each other through all of this, by the way. It was more of like an abusive relationship where one person holding all the power, right?
Right. Yeah.
All right. So we got to slow down. Slow down. We're going too fast. I got to talk about polar shifts.
Oh, okay.
So, in the 1930s, Edward Casey is the most respected channeler in the world, like a medium. He can talk to higher beings because there are like levels of consciousness. Like I don't know if I had to guess, I think we're like fourth level consciousness at this point. I don't know,
Okay.
but yeah. Edward Casey in the 1930s, he can talk to higher beings, and he was channeling for a geologist when he stopped and said, "Oh, by the way, we're gonna have a polar shift soon." So and polar shift means like
The magnetic shift?
yeah, magnetic shift.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like
I
going
think I've
from
heard of it.
think of like going from north to south to east to west. Like
Oh, okay.
yeah, oh,
Yeah,
okay, right.
not the one I know about. Okay.
Not of course it's not the one you know about. You know nothing, Benjamin.
Right. Yes.
So all scientists agree that we've had the poles all wrong this entire time and that
Oh, okay.
magnetics have shifted so that Hawaii is the true pole, a west and east pole, right?
So it's the new Atlantis.
No, not at all. It's
Oh,
not the spiritual
dang it.
center of the world. Nice try, Benjamin. You're a great
Dang
student,
it.
but it's not working. So it's like we west and east poles, right? So I could go on
Hmm.
about polar shift theory, but it's and what when they happen and stuff, but it's just bullshit and it's really boring. So I'm just gonna you know glide over it. So just know that you haven't heard of it because of the cover-ups by NASA, societal collapses because of weak magnetics that affected our behavior, or maybe the other way around. And consciousness
Or
shifts.
behavior affected the magnet. What?
Yeah, we don't know. Okay, it's I don't know. Ask experience science. So then consciousness shifts are related to polar shifts, and consciousness shifts are like when you go to level 4 to level 5 or
Hmm.
something like that, right? So if you upgrade or downgrade, it's during a polar shift. So back to the story, right? There was a consciousness shift, but this time we went down instead of up. And we became less connected consciousness wise, right?
Hmm.
And a piece broke off Atlantis, and so we went down. A piece broke off. Everyone was freaking out. We couldn't see the future anymore. That's what we lost. We couldn't see the future. 200 years passed, and
So
people
wait, they didn't
just
know that was gonna happen?
yeah. Shut up. I don't I don't know. Okay. The point is we can't see the future anymore, Benjamin. Wake up. So 200 years passes after this, and people just kind of stop caring 'cause it's like whatever. And just so you know, this is when our life lasts like 500 years because we're spiritual. So 200 years
Okay.
pass, and people are just like, well, whatever. I guess it's not that big of a deal. But then suddenly, 12,000 years ago, a comet approaches. Martians want to blow it out of the sky with lasers. Atlanteans want it to hit Earth because it's divine order, like it's supposed to hit Earth. And we can naturally argue, like, in real life, I'd probably be for blowing it out of the sky with a laser. But the
Yeah, probably.
Atlanteans, the Atlanteans win, even if the Martians have more influence, and everyone just sits and lets this comet hit Charleston, South Carolina.
Wait, what?
What? What? You seem confused.
Um, so Charleston, South Carolina didn't exist 1,200 years ago.
Okay, well, it hits about that area, Benjamin.
Oh,
Don't
okay,
nitpick
geographically.
my
Well,
academic theories.
but I can't even know if geographic, like if that's even what it's called anymore, Alex. I don't know.
Well, geez, okay there, Mr. Atheist Christian uh denier, all right? Okay, it's about okay, North America exists right now and it hit where
Okay.
Charleston would be. Does that make
Okay.
you happy? You fucking heathen? Okay. So pieces fly out of Charleston, South Carolina, hit where the Martians are living, which is kind of hilarious because it totally didn't hit a single Lumerian. It's like whatever. And the Martians are just seething at this. They're so angry because they just like it's like an attack by the Atlanteans, right? Because like they're just like whatever, don't do anything, and the meteor bits hit them. So they're hilariously angry, and they go, "Fuck you, Atlanteans!" And they try to make another synthetic Merkaba, but they fail because they kind of got dumb since the last time. It's just too much time, the loss of knowledge, and it's like fucking up making a nuke. It's like a consciousness nuke, Benjamin, and they just messed it up.
Oh no.
So there's a big fallout, and dimensions were bleeding into each other. Okay, and for the record, they were making the synthetic Merkaba where the Bermuda Triangle is now, and I think that it's still there, deep under the ocean.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the Bermuda Triangle is the top of the Star of David's used to make the Merkaba. So spirits from other dimensions come flying into ours, right? I'm talking like thousands and thousands, like so many spirits come flying out, and they're freaking out because they're in another. Imagine if you just jumped into the fourth dimension right now. You'd be like tripping balls, right? So they
Yeah.
come flying into ours and they're freaking out and they need bodies. So they jumped into the Lumerians.
Wait, not the Martians?
I guess everybody. I don't know. He said
Oh, okay.
Lumerians. There are so few Martians and so many Lumerians. Like Atlanteans mostly refers to Lumerians. So this is super fucked up, Benjamin. Okay, there were
Right.
hundreds of lower dimensional beings for each single Lumerian. That's like 100 people inside of your head, Benjamin. 100 voices kind of deal, right? So people are puking their guts out, society's collapsing, it's the goddamn apocalypse. And it's down to the Nakals to save the world. Remember the Nakals, right?
Right, yeah, the top of the cast, the channelers, the psionic people, they send the stuff out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So let me just tell you a little flavor text about Nakals, right? So they're special, you know that. They have high consciousness, so they can stay youthful for as long as they wish. They're immortal, and they kind of pass on whenever they feel like it, and they'll reincarnate. And when they reincarnate with their memories intact. And this was achieved through tantric interdimensional sex meditation.
Okay. Sounds about right.
No questions.
Yep. Absolutely none. That
All
sounds
right, fine. That was a
perfectly
direct
normal.
that was a direct quote, so I just want to make sure you understand. Okay,
Okay.
so the Nakals can't do anything at this point because it's too much for them. So they pray to higher consciousness beings. Because you know how like lower consciousness guys are coming into ours? They prayed up top. So
Right.
oh what the hell? The HCB say what's gonna. Oh, high consciousness being. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. It's like a schizophrenic's journal here. The higher consciousness beings say what's gonna happen. We're gonna
Okay.
hit rock bottom. I mean level zero consciousness, and we're not even gonna be a
Like a
fee.
rock. Like literally.
Yeah, we're
Rock
just
bottom,
basically
zero
raw.
consciousness.
Yeah, we're barely even sentient, right? We're like cavemen bashing rocks together. We're not even a female species anymore, okay? We're level zero male species scrub lords. Wow. So here's the kicker, right? We only have 13,000 years to hit Christ consciousness. If we don't, we die. This is nuts, Benjamin. I mean, it's
Then we just
impossible.
reincarnate, right?
No, we die. We cease to exist.
What?
Because we're like super like not even on the consciousness scale right now. So if there's a big consciousness shift, we'll go down. Think of it as like hitting zero, and then if you go down in the next shift, you'll go to like -1 hit points and die, right?
Mm.
So this is crazy because it's impossible. 13,000 years to hit Christ consciousness, that's impossible. Imagine studying the night before the bar exam and passing, man. You can't, right?
Challenge accepted.
Challenge,
No,
that's
I'm kidding.
exactly what you're gonna do. All right, well, maybe this will up your spirits then, because I guess you know the outcome because we're all alive and here right now. So let's talk about Thoth. Thoth, Ra, and Araragat, I guess that's his name, set out with,
Yeah, one of these is not like the other.
yeah, yeah. They set out with instructions to commit to this Christ consciousness experiment, right? So they got to go out and make it possible because they're like Nicalls, they're super enlightened. Okay, the Nicalls are still enlightened. It's just that everyone else is like stupid now. So they have to go out and make this happen. So we're going to talk about how they do it, but first, let's talk about consciousness grids. Consciousness grids hold together the consciousness of beings on Earth. There's one for each species and one for each dimension. And they're the reason there's a blue glow around the Earth when you look at it from space. So,
Okay.
yeah, so it's like how humans have like a hive mind. It's basically saying that. So they had to make a synthetic grid to let humans ascend in record time. I think this is when we
Okay.
become humans instead of like Lumerians.
Okay.
I think
So
so.
this answers the initial question. When did human history start?
I guess
Right
so.
here.
I guess so. It's super deep. Um, yeah, so here are some bullshit experiments to prove that there is a consciousness grid. So have you ever heard of the 100th monkey experiment?
I don't think so.
Here's a pause there. I was thinking maybe you have. uh, so monkeys were taught to wash sand off of sweet potatoes,
Yeah, no.
and yeah, yeah, okay. So they were taught to wash the sand off of sweet potatoes before eating it. Okay,
Okay.
and after like a generation or two, they teach each other because it's way easier, and there would be more
Right.
monkeys. Over time, more and more monkeys would know, right? So this was done on an island. But then suddenly, monkeys on the mainland, having never encountered the island monkeys, inexplicably learned how to do the same thing, which implies a hive mind, right?
Right.
Yeah. So scientists knew that something held species together, which is the consciousness grid, so they tested it on humans. So another experiment was done, and there is a picture containing hundreds of hidden human faces, and they were shown to a test group, and people could only pick out about 7 or 8 because there are so many and they're so well hidden. Then half the research team flew to Great Britain and had the picture air on a game show where the contestants were supposed to pick out as many as they knew. And then they showed every single face on the picture over television in Great Britain. And then they fly back, and suddenly the test group can pick out more faces than before. I mean, like dozens and dozens and dozens of faces. So that's the proof that consciousness grids exist.
Okay.
Because, yeah, you like read each other's brains. So our brains are definitely 100% connected through the consciousness grids, Benjamin. Mass consciousness is real.
Okay.
It's probably why meme like magic exists, right? It's probably why meme
Yeah.
exists, right? So
Right.
military bases on most of the nodal points of the grid. Wait, shit. what am I saying? There are military bases. Sorry, my brain shut off for like a solid minute. How long was I out?
Um, I think it's best not to say.
Okay, sorry. It's just, oh man, this is mentally straining. Like the truth, like, oh, my neurons. Oh,
Can't
so
handle the
I
truth.
can't handle it. So there are military bases on most of the nodal points of the grid because the government knows it's real and they want to control it.
Hmm.
So back to Thoth, right? They need to make a Christ consciousness grid. So they did it starting at the lower grids at like consciousness 1 and going up, right? So they're going to make like a higher consciousness grid for humanity and we're going to like leapfrog across lower level ones. So, what there are 6 levels, so whatever they thought just like happened, or God, I guess. And this is when Thoth made the pyramids. And for the record, pyramids were made with a top block and then went with the lower ones. So went from top down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a quote from Spirit Science that explains everything. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So it took about 13,000 years to kick in, but the spiritual sites made by Thoth and company worked, right? We made it. We made it. It's okay, Benjamin. We're all going to be okay. We're
Yeah, I was
Christ
worried.
consciousnesses.
I was worried.
Yeah, yeah. Spoiler alert. So the emerald tablets, right? So there are these
Hmm.
emerald tablets created by Thoth and left in the Great Pyramid. They are imperishable and their atomic structure cannot be changed, violating physics. You can read these babies at 100 different layers of consciousness and understand them differently every single time. It's like super complicated, so crazy. And if you,
Whoa.
and I can tell you want to read it, so please feel free to read these bastions of knowledge by following the link in the description below, where I include a link to the Emerald tablets. Obviously, we're just reading them at our current consciousness level,
4.
unless you're as,
No.
like advanced as I am and you just hit like the next level, but and yeah, they're great. And yeah, so this now let's talk about the object and our vulnerability. So the missing capstone of the pyramid was made of gold and had holographic images inside, and it was the missing piece to a special airship only accessible through the Sphinx. 1 mile down, 1 mile down inside the Sphinx is the oldest synthetic object on Earth. It's about 2 city blocks in size, disc-shaped, and only 3 atoms thick. It is the protector of the planet. So when we hit a part of the equinox signaling a polar shift, we tend to fall apart and look weak. Like we tend to fight amongst ourselves, and other species will try to invade. It's normal for all evolving consciousness, not just humans. And a pure being, which could be like anyone, anytime, they have an example of like a woman from Peru or something. They will go to the pyramids, activate the airship, fly up into space with a synthetic object, and be given absolute power of creation or destruction by the sun, making things happen with their thoughts. So this happened, Benjamin. Take a guess when.
2012.
Oh man, good guess, good guess. But no.
Dang
Actually,
it.
oh man, I should look that up later.
The end of the world. 2012. I was just, that could have been
That was
just something
good.
passed on from our collective conscious.
Yeah, that's a good guess with the Mayan calendar. I mean,
Yeah.
I mentioned the Mayans later, but no, no. This happened in 1989 with the Greys. So little
The
gray
gray.
alien men really do
Wow.
exist, and
Oh,
they
okay.
tried to take over the world, but a lady in Peru saved us. I was right. I remembered. So yeah. So like literally like little gray alien guys are running around and they tried to take Earth, but Peru stopped them. So back to Thoth and friends, right? So the polar shift starts. So Thoth and friends pick up the Nakals, who make a powerful Merkaba around them and save the world using the period. What? I don't know what that is. So we were stuck in the void for a while because we only just made it, and we lost our memories since we weren't protected, and a clean wipe occurred, and now we're spiritually and I guess kind of mentally retarded as well. The pineal gland, the pineal gland responsible for supermind powers, is now really small. It used to be way bigger, and it gives us psychic powers. So everyone else, Thoth and company, they're all protected because of the Merkaba, so they didn't lose their memories, and they went out to continue helping. Noah's Ark is real, and the flood was the result of an ice age melting.
Okay.
All right, good. So, 6 new codons are being made in humans. Indigo and crystal children, as well as super psychics, are people who unlock 2 of the 6 new codons. Consciousness levels and also height are determined by how many chromosomes you have. So we have what, 23 or something chromosomes, right?
I think it's 20. You
How,
know what? I'm
I'm literally
literally in
studying
biology
this
right now.
right
This
now.
is
Yeah,
really
that's what I'm
sad.
saying is that I literally just raised my hand and answered that question like 2 days ago. I can't even
Oh
remember.
my god. Yeah, this is actually like really
This is gonna
sad.
bother us. Okay, whatever. The point is
It's
like
23. You're right.
I
It
was
is.
right. Okay. Wow, brain. I
I
guess
don't know
I
why
I guess I
26
don't
was in
have
my.
24 since I answered that right.
Yes.
Okay,
There you
but
go.
but so humans have 23, but like if your next consciousness, you'd have like 32 or 48 and stuff like that, and you'd be like 10 feet tall.
Dang.
So human evolution, well, not really human evolution. Spirit science is talking about technological discoveries. Uh, they occur when Thoth's son Tat just appears out of nowhere and tells people how to do stuff. So are you familiar with like stair step evolution?
Stair step evolution.
Yeah, it's like an
Not by that
actual
name necessarily.
yeah, it's like an actual legit thing where basically we get a new technology that radically changes how humans like live, and then we just kind of stagnate for a while,
Oh,
and then it
yeah, yeah.
happens
Okay,
again.
Stephen Jay Gould. Yeah, yeah, I know. Yes, I've heard of this before. I think I know it by another name.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yes, I've heard of this before.
yeah, and it looks like a bunch of stairs. Yeah, so basically
Punctuated equilibrium. There we go. That's the name.
yeah, there you go. That's
Stephen
fancier.
Jay Gould. Yes.
Well, that's the fake science way of saying it, but spirit science's way is stair step,
Right.
and that's the explanation for like why it's just sudden bursts is because Thoth's son Tat just appears and tells people how to do this stuff. So eventually they stopped, and we just kind of started deteriorating. But 3 saviors came, 3 psychic superstars. All right, so Egyptian gods are just people ascended from the MS. Damn it. Damn it. Why did I keep on doing initials? Uh, men- mental mystery school. Okay. So the mystery school is shit. Okay, I'm spinning in circles here. My neurons are firing off all at once. Every neuron in my brain. So Egyptian gods are people ascended from this mystery school who like are psychic beings. They're smart, and infighting occurs over which person is the real god. Okay, this is when religion starts setting in, right? So the
Right.
first 2 Lumerians who became immortal were told by Thoth to mate interdimensionally to create a Christ consciousness. That Christ consciousness was Akhenaton, who said there was one God within yourself. It's not literally, it's just saying that we're consciousness.
Right, right.
And he made the mystery school and created 300 immortality capable people before priests killed him for taking away their power. And some Egyptian gods are those people from the school, just some of them. Now, Pythagoras was shown the geometries of the universe
Oh
by
my
Thoth
god.
before going on to found Greece. So he
Oh my
was
god.
shown the geometries of the universe by Thoth. That's why Greece is so great.
Oh,
Um,
I see, I see.
yeah, yeah. So those are 2 of the people. Akhenaton and Pythagoras were 2 of the 3 psychic superstars. So the third, right? So Essons are the 300 immortal people I just told you about who learned from Akhenaton, and they left Egypt to create their own city, and Mary and Joseph were part of that city. It was the Ascended Master's plan to make a level 2 consciousness being and have him ascend to Christ consciousness in a single life, giving the knowledge of ascension to the consciousness grid. It was Jesus. I'm talking about Jesus. Mary and Joseph,
Right, right.
Jesus. So Jesus was the third savior. He was the third like Superman. Although his name was Yahshua at the time, right? So Mary was a
Yashua.
yeah. Yeah, his name's Joshua. So
Oh my god.
Mary was a virgin since the mating was interdimensional, and Jesus went to Tibet in his youth to become enlightened.
Right, right.
Yeah. So
Sounds all
that's
about
that's why
right.
there's like a gap between like age 4 and age 16 or whatever, or
Hmm.
something like that in the Bible. So yeah, it makes sense. The physical structure. Oh yeah, this is so the physical structure of the Lord's Prayer. Like if you wrote it out, it actually lines up with our seven chakras and the seven original branches of yoga. So this guy and his wife made a meditation called heart dancing, which is based on this. So next time you go into like church, you can like talk about it, and you can
Of
see it
course.
yourself in the description below, following the link called seeyourselfloving.com. So 300 AD had Christian and Egyptian leaders trying to consolidate their power and rule the world. And also the Mayans are smart because they lived in Atlantis before their part sank. Yeah, just dropping a little knowledge bomb, little tiny
Right,
knowledge
right.
cluster bomb. So we're nearing the end here. We're getting real close. This is the modern world.
To modern day, yeah.
Yeah. So
So
13th. Yeah, yeah. Ask.
so whatever. So the Martians just interbred and assimilated like a while back, or they just all died.
I think they. Oh man, that's a good question. I don't think they mentioned it that much.
Mm.
Either what happened was, when we went into the, either we went when we went into that void for a couple days after just barely saving our own skins, they either didn't make it or they did. No, oh shit, that's a good question. I just remembered. Yes, they kind of made it. They intermated with us. Um, we all blended together so much it doesn't really matter anymore. There's not just Martians. There's Martian
Right, they
blood.
assimilate.
There's
Yeah,
Martian blood, but it's like not.
got
So
it.
speaking of that, right? 13 families have control over all the monopolies and parent companies of the world today, owning 95% of the money in the world. They're the
Okay.
Illuminati. Well, they're not really.
Illuminati.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So they're
Oh
not
my
they're not really the Illuminati, okay? Normies
dang
call
it.
them.
The
Shut
play
up,
on
shut up. This is
words.
some serious stuff, Benjamin. Normies just call them Illuminati, but the real life Illuminati are just people who knew some of this spiritual science stuff and pursued more of it, and that threatened the church. So so really they were like truth seekers who wanted to help and who wanted more knowledge, and it threatened the church's power, which is why they're considered blasphemous. Think of like witches and stuff.
Mhm.
I guarantee if we ask I guarantee if we asked spirit science like what a witch was back then and why they were damned by the church, it's probably because they had spirit powers or something. But the thing is, you get this knowledge and you're in hiding and all these people power hunting you. There's a bunch of splinter groups and some of them became corrupt. So some of them are corrupt, others aren't. I don't think there's literally one Illuminati group. Like the Illuminati, like plural, are a bunch of different groups that know the truth.
Mhm.
But yeah. And the
So
church is
the
kind of like
13
its own group.
families.
Yeah, so not they're not just the 13 families like any groups, but these 13 families just they don't contain any love or emotion. They have almost entirely Martian blood. Yeah. So that's a lot of the
Hmm.
conspiracy modern day stuff. And you know what? It's not really over, Benjamin. We're still making history, even now today. And most of the stuff mentioned in this video that you understood so well, maybe the audience got a little confused. I don't blame them. There's tons of more in-depth videos if you really want to go into it, which
Oh
I
my
have not.
god.
And of course, at the end, he's like, "Oh, okay, you don't have to believe it. It's just a theory, a game theory." Like, okay, yeah,
Oh my
whatever.
god.
Yeah, yeah, okay, we don't have to believe it. Okay, it's the truth. And Christ. Wow, yeah, I'm done. I got
Dang.
some post-game stuff, but yeah, I spent the video was 1 hour, but I probably spent like 2 or 3 trying to trying to decipher it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Christ. So yeah, just some post-game stuff. A lot of comments are asking like source, like okay, I'm gonna need a source for this. Thank you very much. and they talk about sources. So I followed so you have to go to the website to see the sources. So I went
Hmm.
there, but they had like one or two sources for the entire video, and I looked it up, and it was a book. It was a link to an Amazon webpage selling a book called The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life, volumes 1 and 2.
Oh my
So
god.
not much of a source if you ask me. I mean, when it's trying to sell me something, come on, Spirit Science. That's like linking to like Wikipedia or something. You gotta go down to the nitty gritty. Okay.
Yeah, you got to go to that primary source, to that original,
Yeah, find Thoth's son. Get Tat
basically.
to come in here and tell us what's going on. Now, I haven't bought the book. I'm not going to buy the book. I just wanted to make a B&B
Why?
episode, god damn it. So I'm not going to do that, but maybe some psychopathic person out there is going to buy it because they hate themselves, and maybe maybe Stephen Hawking will rise from the grave and tell us it's all true or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Stephen Hawking didn't really die.
Yeah, he
He just
reincarnated.
pretend,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
really he just dove into spirit science, figuring out all of its secrets, and then comes
He
back, tell
he
us all.
tried to watch the video, but his stupid fake science brain couldn't handle it, and he died. And I
Oh my
lived.
god.
Because I am like second level consciousness.
Oh my god.
hmm So you know what? Oh yeah, and I also commented extra credits just becomes less and less about video games, and some person was like, this isn't extra credits. I was like, nice, we're right over your head. But yeah, yeah. So I think they really genuinely believe in this. Like they're not kidding about it because the video took way more effort than like a normal Scientology kind of cult would do just for advertisement. Like
Hmm.
if you just wanted to like get people to buy your Secret of the Flower of Life books, you don't need to like do this.
Right.
And they're still commenting on it, what, 6 years after it was made? That's wild. I can't believe they responded to me just because it was
Yeah.
just some random YouTube comment out of thousands. Maybe I'm the chosen one. I don't know. uh, but
I
yeah,
just looked up this book. It's by a guy named Drunvalo Melchizedek. What?
it's probably because
Melchizedek
he's probably like a
in
reincarnation of
1998.
Pythagoras.
Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, he's kind of a little old too. So they genuinely believe this, and you know what? And they can really take some hits because people in the comments are joking around about like crazy people, but they just let it slide right off them. So respect to them. Spirit science, you responded to my comment, so maybe you're looking up stuff talking about you. If you're listening, drop a comment, right? You're fucking crazy, but you're kind of chill, even with the crazy Atlanteans tablet space Jewish chakra stuff. I like you. And
Right.
I need the soundtrack for the video because it was pretty good. I liked it. But yeah, spirit science is batshit crazy. I couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I'm just it's crazy. Like how long has this channel been around? Like
Oh, geez, man, I don't know. I should probably have it pulled up, but I haven't. I mean, really, in our
I'm
hearts,
seeing
it's been
stuff from
around
like
for
6 years
500,000
ago.
years. Yeah, no, it's been around for a while, man.
Oh my
This was
god.
uploaded 2012, and I'm sure it was around before that because this is the 12th video, and it must take a while to make this shit. But wow, I don't know. It's just like one of those crazy pieces of. It's like the shit. It's like the time cube or something like that. I got to tell you about the time cube some other time. Man, oh geez. I could. This is, by the way, this is called conspiracy corner. I've decided this is the B&B conspiracy corner because
Right.
conspiracies are just like they are ripe for the picking, Benjamin. There's a million of them.
Yeah. There's
Lizard
so much stuff
people
to
and the
look through.
government. Man, it's just like such a weird thing to like look in and go like, what the hell?
Yeah. Oh my god.
But I hope you came away with a deeper understanding of the world and how it works.
I know I did.
hmm So I'll include links to PCP University. I'll include links to the Lord's Prayer thing and the Emerald tablets, and also the book probably, just because it's kind of obligated to. But any thoughts, Benjamin? I know there's probably so many you can't even pick out a single one.
Yeah, there's so many thoughts swirling around in my brain right now. I'm
Yeah,
just having to re-examine my own reality.
yeah.
Um, I don't know.
You don't have to say anything, Benjamin.
I
I can, using my second level consciousness powers, I can already read your mind, so it's okay. All
okay.
right.
Yeah, you got it. You know what I'm thinking right now?
Um, yeah. You're pure Lumerian blood.
Aw,
I've
thanks.
got some Martian in me, I think. I'm the Chad Martian who just kind of
Right.
strolls in, right? That's
Wait,
great.
I actually, what you mentioned them. What exactly happened to the space Hebrews? They were there and then they just sort of passed by.
That's what I was wondering. That's what I was wondering because I was like, I got super excited when they started talking about the space Jews, right? And I was
Yeah,
super excited and said we were great. And yeah, what I failed to say was that they gave us a bunch of knowledge that we didn't know because they're cool. But then they never really mentioned it in the video again. It's probably in another one of their videos because they have a lot of
dang.
videos. But I was maybe I'll look it up. Who knows?
All right.
All right. Well, stay woke out there, people. Okay. Dab on those NSA scientists or whatever, the NASA scientists. Okay, who cares? Be a truther.